So, now let us look at one of the ways to solve these system of ordinary differential equations. So, I will introduce a method which is called the generalized trapezoidal family of methods. So, the idea is rather simple. Let me first review for you the problem that we are solving, and then I will give you the method. So, the problem that we are solving is md dot plus kd equal to f with an initial condition that d at 0 is d0. So, this is the problem, and the way we start out by doing, as I just explained, that this is the time axis and we have different levels. So, let us say this is time level n plus 1, this is time level n, this is time level n minus 1, this is time level n minus 2. So, all these are known to me because I am doing a marching in time. So, I know everything on this time level and I am trying to figure out what is at level n plus 1. So, I will introduce a parameter alpha which actually belongs to the interval 0 to 1, and it will be very useful in showing you this method, and we will assume that all these time levels are actually separated by a time step called delta t. So, delta t is what we always refer to as time step in our discussions that will follow. The trapezoidal method is stated in the following manner. So, we will write down this equation m in the form v n plus 1 plus k d n plus 1, this is f n plus 1. I will call this as equation number 3, maybe I will call this as equation 1 and this as equation 2. The next step is to define d n plus 1. So, d n plus 1 is related to d n and through a certain velocity. So, we will call this delta t times the velocity at n plus alpha, and v n plus alpha is actually defined as 1 minus alpha times v n plus alpha times v n plus 1. So, this is the generalized trapezoidal method, and I will number these equations as 3, 4 and 5. Let us try to see what the method is doing. So, first of all, we are saying this equation is valid at each time level. So, I can apply it to time level n, it would give me m times v at n plus k times d at n and f at n. I can also apply it at time level n plus 1, and that is what has been written here. Okay. How do we interpret the velocity? Well, velocity is simply d dot, but then the levels are important. So, the way we are relating the velocity and the displacement are using equation number 4. Okay. Notice we are saying that alpha can lie anywhere between 0 and 1. If alpha is 0, then this term would be simply v n. If alpha is 1, then this term would be v n plus 1. So, in fact, equation number 4 is telling us how the derivative of the displacement or the velocity is being represented. And how do we estimate v n plus alpha? Well, using an interpolation between v n and v n plus 1 using equation 5. So, let me spend some time on equation 4. what it tells me is that V at n plus alpha can be written as d n plus 1 minus dn divided by delta t. This I have simply rearranged equation number 4. This is very interesting. So, for different values of alpha, what I am saying is that this difference, which is actually just the displacement at two levels non-dimensionalized with delta t, so that gives me a derivative, but I can assign that velocity to a certain level. So, at least 3 values of alpha are very popular. So, alpha varies between 0 to 1. So, I will write down 3 popular values. And they are alpha equal to 0, alpha equal to a half, and alpha equal to 1. If I put alpha equal to 0, then you will notice that I am saying V at n is given as dn plus 1 minus dn divided by delta t. So, what I am really saying is that to estimate the velocity at level n, I am actually using the displacement at this level and from a future level. So, that is why this would be the Euler forward. Sometimes it is also known as just the forward difference. Notice we are trying to now use finite difference in time. So, we have already used finite element in space, but because this is a semi-discrete system, so we are trying to do the discretization in time using a simple finite difference method, and alpha equal to 0 seems to be the Euler forward method. What happens at alpha equal to 1? If I put alpha equal to 1, the right hand side remains the same, but I am saying this velocity actually gets assigned to Vn plus 1. So, if I rewrite this, Vn plus 1 therefore is dn plus 1 minus dn divided by delta t. In some sense, what I am saying is the velocity at level n plus 1 depends on the displacement at this level and at another level below it. So, therefore, this would be called as Euler backwards, or sometimes it is also referred to as simply the backward difference. Okay? Alpha equal to half is equally interesting, and that tells us that this would be assigned to Vn plus half. Of course, the right hand side remains the same. This is popularly known as the central difference or the Crank-Nicolson, after the scientists who found this method. We are free to choose other values of alpha also. So, I am well within my rights to choose alpha equal to 0.25 or 0.3 or 0.7, but these are the 3 popular values. We will see later, I am not showing you right now, but we will see them in a future session, that the value of alpha changes the stability and the accuracy of the results. So, some of these methods will have a restriction on the time step. So, if I try to use a large time step, then some values of alpha will not allow me to do that. So, therefore, those methods we will call as conditionally stable. They can only be used for a certain limit of delta t. Also, the accuracy is going to be different depending on what alpha value you choose. So, all this we will do in one of the sessions. So, how do we implement this in our numerical method? It turns out you can do it in 2 possible ways. You can either treat d as an unknown, so that is called the d implementation or the displacement implementation, or you can choose velocity as your unknown. Okay, so let us look at those, And I will first describe to you the V form of implementation. So, what we will do is we will take these equations 3, 4 and 5 and kind of rewrite them in a form that equation number 3 has the velocity as the unknown. So, we will try to get rid of this term that involves the displacement, and we will do that in terms of velocity. So, the method begins like this. So, we will start with V0. So, we will assume that because the initial condition is known to us, so V0 is also known, and the way to find that out would be that m V0 plus k D0 is actually F0. So, I can estimate V0 from simply m inverse of F0 minus k D0. So, D0 is given to me as the initial condition, and therefore, I will assume that V0 is also known to me. Next, what I do is I use what is called as a predictor corrector method. So, there are two stages. So, we first predict and then we correct. Let me illustrate to you how. So, let d tilde n plus 1 be the predicted value. Of dn plus 1, and we are going to write this as dn plus 1 tilde because we already know dn. So, we are going to increment this with some number. So, we already know what is the velocity at time level n. So, we are simply going to do this 1 minus alpha delta t Vn. So, using the velocity at time level n, we are going to take a fraction of it and then multiply that with delta t and get the predicted value. Of course, we will need to correct it. So, let me call this as equation 6 and this I will call as equation number 7. Please look at equation number 4, which gives us the dn. So, from 4 it is easy to see that dn, so actually 4 and 5, if I plug in for Vn plus alpha, then dn plus 1 can be given as dn plus a delta t times Vn plus alpha, which is actually alpha times Vn plus 1 plus 1 minus alpha times Vn. And if I compare this from equation number 7, then you will be able to see that this term and 1 minus alpha times Vn term, this is already included in dn tilde. So, I can rewrite this as d tilde n plus 1, which is the predicted value, plus this extra term which is alpha delta t times Vn plus 1. So, this I am going to call as equation number 8. I can now go ahead and substitute equation number 8 in this equation number 3. Okay? And if I do that, then I would get my equation only in terms of the unknown Vn plus 1. So, let's try that. So, substitute in equation 3 and I would be able to see the following, that m times Vn plus 1 plus k times, for dn plus 1 I write down this dn plus 1 tilde plus alpha delta t Vn plus 1, and this is actually equal to Fn plus 1. So, if I rearrange the terms for Vn plus 1 on the left hand side and take the others on the right hand side, the known quantities, I would end up with the following. So, m plus I calculate alpha delta t k, this times V n plus 1, this on the right hand side I would get f n plus 1 minus k times d tilde n plus 1. This of course is a known quantity because this is a predicted quantity, and now this is my equation which I will call equation number 9, and it can be used to solve for Vn plus 1. Once Vn plus 1 is known, I can actually get back my d, and that would be simple. So, I can use equation 8 to get my d. Okay. So, dn plus 1 would then be, so therefore, my corrector stage, the corrector step, just like I have written the predictor step which is equation number 7, my corrector step would be equation number 8. So, I can just substitute for Vn plus 1 and get back my displacement, the exact displacement dn plus 1, and then I can move to the next time level and repeat the same. Okay. So, this is the V implementation. Now, I want to make a few remarks before we move ahead, and the first one is that if alpha is 0, then actually this term drops out and I get simply m times Vn plus 1. Okay. And there is a possibility then that I can replace m. So, if alpha is 0 and I replace m with a lumped mass matrix, then I get what is called as an explicit method. Let me explain you what that means. As of now, equation 9 shows that all my equations are coupled. Okay. So, if I have, let us say, a mesh and these are the nodes where I am trying to find the solution, then this vector of unknowns Vn plus 1 means it contains all the unknowns at these nodes, and this equation actually couples all of them. Okay. Is there a way that I can decouple these equations and solve them one by one instead of solving them simultaneously? That is what will lead to an explicit method. So, in an explicit method, there is no need to invert a matrix, we can just get the answer by some kind of a diagonal scaling. So, each equation becomes independent of the other, and you can clearly see if alpha is 0, that is the first step, this term goes away. So, some coupling is gone, and now the next step would be, can we reduce the mass matrix to a diagonal matrix? So, if it becomes simply a diagonal matrix and it has no off diagonal entries, then I can decouple all the equations and solve for them, and that is what this technology is, the lumped mass matrix. So, you take the full matrix which we saw in the one dimensional case, which has entries 1, 4, 1. So, 4 was the diagonal, 1 were the off diagonals, and you actually add all of them to the diagonal. Okay. So, that would give us the lumped mass matrix, and then you would get an explicit method. Else, so all other alphas, so alpha not equal to 0 would give rise to what is known as an implicit method, wherein you would have to invert a matrix to get the solution. Obviously, implicit methods are more expensive, and explicit methods, because they are just diagonal scaling, they are much cheaper. Of course, these methods have some the explicit methods have some problems with the stability. So, you cannot take a very large time step, there is a restriction on it. On the other hand, with implicit methods you can take a large time step, at least from the stability point of view, for a linear problem. So, we will consider these properties a little bit later, but at least I thought I will mention this property to you. We will stop here, and in the next session we are going to look at the second method, wherein instead of getting the equations in terms of the velocity, we will try to implement it in terms of displacement, okay? And that has some merits as well. So, let us now begin with the second form of the implementation. This is the D form. Here we are going to write the equations in terms of the displacement and not the velocity as before. So, let me review for you the generalized trapezoidal rule. So, the equation that we are trying to solve is the following: m d dot plus k d equal to f, and this is along with the initial condition d 0 equal to d 0. So, we had numbered this as 1 and this one as 2. The method which we call as the generalized trapezoidal method that has a template with these three equations. So, first we write this at the level n plus 1. So, d dot is being written as v. So, that is m v n plus 1 plus k d n plus 1, and this is again at the level force at n plus 1. So, this we had called equation number 3. Then we had defined what is d n plus 1. So, that is in terms of the displacement at level n, and then we are going to advance it with a time step delta t and the velocity at a level n plus alpha, which lies between n and n plus 1. So, we will now define what is v n plus alpha, that is in terms of 1 minus alpha v n plus alpha times v n plus 1. So, this was equation 4 and this is equation 5. So, all this we have done before, but now we are going to use these to come up with a method to solve for d by eliminating v. So, as we had discussed before, alpha can take values between 0 to 1, and I had shown you 3 values 0, 0.5 and 1, which are very special, but of course, we are free to choose any value of alpha, and it would be in the overall branch of method called the generalized trapezoidal method. So, we will still use the predictor corrector method. So, let us review that. So, we had introduced a quantity called d tilde, which is the so predictor So, if you recall, we had said dn plus 1 tilde can be simply written in terms of dn plus we advance it by 1 minus alpha delta t times Vn. So, this was equation number 7 that we had written earlier. Okay. So, we are going to combine equations 4 and 5 and write down the following. So, 4 and 5 would imply that dn plus 1 is given as dn plus I will substitute for Vn plus alpha from equation number 5, and that leads to the following: delta t times alpha times Vn plus 1 plus 1 minus alpha times Vn, and this we had written earlier also, but I am going to call this as equation 10. So, now we can look at equation 7 and 10 and write down that dn plus 1 is actually d tilde n plus 1. Okay. So, I am going to substitute for d tilde n plus 1 and then see which terms I can combine in this, and the remaining that is left out is alpha delta t times V n plus 1. So, this I am going to call as equation 7 equation 11. So, I can rearrange and write down that Vn plus 1 is given as 1 by alpha delta t dn plus 1 minus d tilde n plus 1, and this I am going to call as equation number 12. Okay. So, this is simply by rearranging the terms, and now I can substitute this in my equation 1 over here and get the following. So, if I look at this equation m v n plus 1, so I will substitute for v n plus 1 over here, and I would get the following: m times 1 by alpha delta t d n plus 1 minus d tilde n plus 1. So, that is the v n plus 1 term, plus I would get a k d n plus 1, and this is f n plus 1. Okay. And now I can very easily solve for d n plus 1 by taking this d tilde n plus 1, which is a known quantity, to the right hand side. So, therefore, the final equation that I get is 1 by alpha delta t times m, and then I substitute for this k, which is alpha delta t times k, this times dn plus 1, and this is given as f n plus 1 plus 1 by alpha delta t and m times d tilde n plus 1. So, this is the final equation that I can solve and get a value of d n plus 1. Okay. So, the assumption is we start with a predictor value, and then this could be thought of as the corrector step, wherein we solve for the correct dn plus 1 in terms of the predicted d tilde n plus 1. So, we have now seen two implementations, one where the unknown is the velocity vector, and then the number 2 where the unknown is the displacement vector. Let us look at some of the properties of this system. So, I will just make some remarks. So, the first remark is that if M is diagonal, then calculating the right hand side, and to be more precise, this quantity M times d tilde n plus 1 is easier. Okay. So, remember in this form we would have to take this matrix vector product to get the corrector step. So, we would have to first estimate M plus alpha delta t times k and then find an inverse of this to get dn plus 1. But even to compute the right hand side, this product is needed, and what is being said is that if we were to somehow replace M with a diagonal M, then the effort required is much smaller. The other remark that we would like to see is that if alpha delta t tends to infinity. So, I take an extremely large time step. Then it is easy to see that I would have a situation where the first term kind of disappears, then alpha delta t would get eliminated from the second term. So, I would indeed get simply k times dn plus 1. So, this reduces to k times dn plus 1 is equal to f n plus 1, which is actually the steady state. So, one way of computing a steady state is that you can still take the unsteady code. So, use the unsteady code to estimate the steady state solution. By simply taking a very large time step. So, we do not have to take a time step as infinity, but suppose we took a time step of the order of a million, okay, or 10 million, so 10 to the 7th. Then we would get a very small number over here in terms of 1 by alpha delta t, and thereby we could actually get very close to a steady state solution. So, you do not have to write a separate steady code and an unsteady code. Okay, so that is all I wanted to say about these two kind of algorithms. So, we have used the generalized trapezoidal algorithm in two ways. One is the implementation in terms of velocity, and the other is an implementation in terms of the displacement. They are both same, but they just have a few advantages in terms of, this one has in terms of the steady state, and then I showed you about the implicit and explicit in terms of the velocity implementation. So, we will stop here, and in the next session we are going to look at the stability and the consistency and the convergence properties of these methods. Thank you.